All right, so this is a little demo to show you how to use the software for the next lab. And so what we're going to be doing is investigating the magnetic field due to coils and solenoids. And so uh, when you get the handout and you're looking through the introduction, you'll get to a point where you've got a link to the software that we're going to be using. And so when you launch this, uh, what's probably going to happen to you is that you're going to get some sort of error. This website that we're using to run the lab is based off of Flash. And so at this point, if the website doesn't load, you may need to download Flash. If the website loads and you can see here it says click to use Flash, that means that I've already got Flash installed, but the settings in my browser are preventing it from opening automatically. And so so for me, I'm using Safari, and so you need to go into your preferences. And so if you're using a different operating system, the steps here might be different, but the idea will be the same. So I am in my Safari preferences under websites, and you can see that the plugin Adobe Flash Player is checked here, and you can see that depending on the websites that I have been visiting, I can either turn the turn the Adobe Flash Player on, off, or ask. And so this right here is the website where the software lives. And so I have it set to off. And what that means is that when I go to the website itself, I'm going to have to click to access whatever's there. And so I'm going to click, and then it gives me the option, right? Use it just this one time. Every time would change my preferences. I'm just going to use it once. So one of the issues with Flash, and this is why there are so many sort of options available to you for how to load, is because Flash can be kind of resource intensive. And so if you're going to websites and Flash is automatically loading, what you'll find is that your browser slows down considerably. And so having these controls is really nice because basically you don't want Flash loading on every website, or else you won't even be able to navigate to any page without things slowing down considerably. So just for this one activity, I'm activating Flash for this website. And so you're just going to enter the activity. And so what you're met with is a screen similar to what's shown in the lab handout. And I'm just going to go through some of the basics here. You've got a power supply, so this is very similar to what you would have had in lab. You got a power supply. The power supply is hooked up to, we've got a resistor, so in series with a resistor, and then in series with an ammeter. And then you can see that the circuit is broken here until I actually connect the lead. So this is very much like what you would do in the lab. And then the other tool here I have is a Tesla meter, so that's going to allow me to measure the magnetic field strength inside my solenoid or coil of wire. And then down here at the bottom, you can select different solenoids or different coils. And so the first activity is going to be using the 10-turn coil of loop of wire. And so you're going to set up the circuit, and then you're going to adjust the power supply till you get as close as you can get to 1 amp of current on the ammeter. So you can see as I'm adjusting this, the ammeter is adjusting. All right, so there I'm at 1 amp, 1.01 amp. And the Tesla meter at this point is reading 0.236 millitesla. And you can move the probe along that principal axis of the loop, and you can measure the strength of the magnetic field that's produced by the coils at all of these different positions. So for the first part of the lab, you're going to leave the probe right at the center of the coil, and you're going to adjust the current in the loop, and you're going to record how the B field changes as you increase the current. You're going to go from 1 amp all the way up to 6 amps in steps of half an amp, and then you're going to record that. And again, you'll follow along in the manual to see what you need to do there. Then the other experiments are going to be to adjust this down to 2 amps, so roughly there, and you're going to vary the position of the probe. You're going to go from 0 offset, so right at the center, all the way out to 22 centimeters off the outside of the loop, and you're going to record, so for every centimeter, you're going to record the strength of the B field. Then what you're going to do is you're going to swap out, and again, this is all explained in the handout, so this is just a quick run through. You're going to switch over to the solenoid, and you're going to basically do the same experiment. You're going to adjust this till you get 2 amps of current. And then again, you're going to vary the position here and record the values. And then you're going to have to make a plot in Excel, and so you need to create 2 separate plots and then display those plots on the same axes. So let's just say that your data for the first experiment looks something like this, which of course it won't, because this is just a different function. But so let's say here's our data. And then let's say that for this one, let's have this be equal to all right, so here I have 2 different data sets. Actually, I'm going to change this to just so that they're on the same scale. All right, and so now you've got 2 data sets here. If you want to plot them, you can either select all of the data, since we're using the same column here for the X values, we can highlight these 3 columns, and it'll use the first column as the horizontal or the X values in both cases. And so here you have both plots together. Or what is probably more likely that's going to happen is that you're going to complete the first part and you're going to produce a plot. And so that would be, here's your first plot, and then so you've already got the plot made, and then you need to add the second data points. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to right click on the data, I'm going to select data, and when I do that, you can see there's already a series added, and so that's the one that's already plotted. I want to add another series, series 2. For the X values, I am going to use the same values that I did for the first plot. And then for the Y values, I am going to, I don't like how that's in the way, but it is. So for Y values, I'm going to choose the next column, and then I'm going to hit OK, and there you have it. The other data points show up on the same axes. And so then you can go in here and add axes titles. You can change the symbol colors, the symbol markers, etc. But this is what you're going to need to do for that second part, where you want both the B field of the 10-turn coil and the solenoid on the same chart or the same plot. And that, of course, there's there's a variety of different questions in the handout that you need to answer, but the software that you're going to be using here on the website, and then plotting in Excel, those are the basics of what you need to know. All right, good luck.